Naruto should be able to do everything. Every mission should just be run by Naruto clones. All the work around town should be run by Naruto clones. Like everybody should just be living in a utopia where they chill. And his Naruto clones handle everything. If they die, he gets the information. He's like, oh, that's information. Need to send more Naruto clones on this mission.
Imagine
like,
how overwhelming he would be if just like the big counter would be to just like kill 10 of them or like 100,000 of them at the same time. And then he just gets 100,000 people's worth of information at the same time.
that would be crazy, but I think that would be an interesting story.
Because then imagine that actually happening, and like Shikamaru was like in the room, right? Now you gotta figure out why Naruto's head just exploded.
Oh no! 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boys, and we are back with the 44th episode of the DNAnime podcast. I'm Beautiful Crow. That's Vic Seal, and we're here to talk about anime today. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your weekends or whenever you're watching it. If this is on your commute to work, if it's while you're washing some dishes, well, you're walking your fishes. I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. If you guys are enjoying it, help your boys out. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. You got to do all the business out the front, but I am here and excited to talk about some anime because I watched anime this week. Vix, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I am excited to talk about, first of all, whatever you got to watch this week, because you don't get to watch anime very often. But this time, I am going to talk about how we kind of touched on it last week where we talked about like, Dr. Stone and stuff, because they got a new manga that came out, The Martial King. And I started it because I was like, I'm a huge Dr. Stone fan. I love Dr. Stone. I like their art style is really good and it's very unique. The premise is really unique. I really love it. The story is fun. All the characters are interesting. So I was like, I'm going to read this. So I started to read it and I'm not indifferent. I still like it. It's just super weird. Because I'm like, my mind is so locked into Dr. Stone that when I see the characters, I see his art design in the cowboy world, I was like, this is kind of weird. It's like imagine if Gen just pulled a gun out. I was like, this is so it's like good, but at the same time, it's like I can't unsee Gen pulling a gun out.
Bochi has a very distinct art style. So he's done Dr. Stone. He done, other manhwa, Sunken Rock and everything like that. He also did a One Piece one-shot retelling for the chapter of where Zoro fought Mihawk and also like a solo chapter for Sanji. And it's just like, you watch it and you're just like, oh, I know this is the guy's art style. But it's just like, you can't really divorce it because it's like, it's so unique. It just ties specifically to him and his art style, which is cool.
The thing with his art style is like, as I was reading the first chapter, I was like, something about the way that the characters were designed felt like they fit in the primitive stone world. And now that it's in like the Wild West, it's like the disconnect feels very strange because they still look like they deserve to be in the stone world, but they're like fully dressed up like cowboys, and I was like, it's good.
All of his characters seem malnourished. They're very like they like Hugh Jackman when he used to play Wolverine, he would get like super dehydrated and the veins would be popping. That's all of Bochi's characters. So they look like they have like 0% body fat. So it's like in Stone Age, it's like, oh yeah, they're not eating good in Dr. Stone. They're just surviving.
That makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, but like when you see other stuff,
I don't know what it is. I don't think that's it though, because I don't think they're like too thin. They're like regular people, but it's like his face design feels almost too polished for like the dusty lands of the West. Because you remember the episode of Dr. Stone where they like show you Suika for the first time and she's got like the really glittery eyes and shit? That's what one of the main characters looks like. Is she just has like, imagine a cowboy or a cowgirl with just like the hat and then just the really sparkly, like precious eyes. It's like, it's so weird because she's trying to be like this hard ass and it just doesn't fit together yet. I'm going to keep reading it because it's funny. It's a good read so far. It's just, I have to divorce the two, like you said, and it's just difficult because of how invested I was into Dr. Stone. because I even read the like spin-off for Dr. Stone, the Byakuya's backstories, and they even actually I think they came out with like another chapter for Byakuya's backstory too, like way later. And in Byakuya's backstory,
like the anime of his life, it was really good.
Yeah, in the Byakuya's backstory in the manga, their like manga backstory, they ended it in such like a weird spot that I was like, oh yeah, that's totally coming back in the main series, and then it never does. If you plan on reading the spin-off, slight spoiler alert, there is a robot that can repair itself out in space, waiting for Byakuya to come back. And it's fucked. So it's so sad, but everybody waiting for Byakuya's return. Really good, dude.
Yeah, Dr. Stone is so good, man. I need to sit down and read it and catch up with the anime. I know the current season is going well and it's doing fantastic. So I'm glad, because again, I'm a huge Bocchi fan, because again, I read Sunken Rock. I love Sunken Rock so much. And to see him like have this success with Dr. Stone, and hopefully with what's the new manga called? Martial King.
Martial King. Dude, when I tried to look it up, it had been so long since anybody did a cowboy story. I was typing in martial artists, but it's Marshall like the sheriff.
Yeah, like a sheriff.
Yeah, because I didn't know what it was about when I first started it. I went in completely blind. I just saw the name and then I spelt it wrong, as I was thinking it was going to be a fighting manga, and they're like, cowboys. The beginning is like randomly rushed because they put a lot of emphasis on like this dude who's like really overpowered and stuff. Like he's like the greatest cowboy to have ever lived. And then like before the first chapter is over, he's like gone. And I was like, I felt like you should have been here a lot longer. So we're still kind of like seeing the like ramifications of his absence over the two chapters that are out right now. But I am also watching Dr. Stone as its season came out. So we got 2 episodes in, and it is still so good. It feels so good to just watch Dr. Stone. I don't know what it is about that. I think I saw a post where he mentioned that he specifically made Dr. Stone for the purpose of breaking people's obsession with superheroes. And I was like, great, that's awesome. That makes perfect sense. I love that. Because I loved it for none of the like abilities or powers. It was just like all characters. So I loved all of that. And then it just stays fun the whole time. And I was like, last week, right after we were talking about it for a little bit, I just watched the ending to Dr. Stone, which if you guys haven't seen it, the third ending, or the ending to season 3 of Dr. Stone, it's probably one of my favorite endings. I had to go add it to my like Spotify playlist because I love that.
Yeah, you showed me it on stream. That might be one of the greatest.
It's so fucking cool, isn't it? It's so cool.
Like when you told me about it, I was like, he just hyping this up. It can't be that good.
No, and then we watched it together. When they draw the storyboard in the sand, that was so like cool.
A tear was going to come to my eye, dude.
The song that went with it was so fucking perfect.
It was so good.
That is probably the best ending to any anime that I think I've ever seen. Because I don't even watch endings because they're almost always boring. Or they just don't match, right? Like, it's like, there'll be either like a trauma scene, and then they're like happy visuals, and you're like, this doesn't add up, or the other way around. And this one is just like, fits so perfectly well that it's like, what's the word? A sense of melancholy, I think is the word, where you're like, it feels good, but you're like sad about it. That's the whole thing. I love it. Their season 1, 2, and 3, their openings were also like spot on. Their season 4 opening is like good, but it's not as good as the last 3.
Dude, I will always yell Ohio, good morning world.
I have it on my playlist, and whenever it comes in, at least that one part, at like volume up. Ohio, Sakai, good morning world.
They need to put more English anime over this so I can yell it like a psychopath.
Keep it to English. Keep it to English.
But yeah, Dr. Stone is just like a nice comfort anime, man. Like I enjoy like
it's comfort, but it like goes so far beyond it though. Like it feels good to watch, but like you don't watch it to be comforted. You watch it like you would a normal shonen, like a shonen type show, but it feels like a cozy one.
Yeah, that's like I love the characters. I love the world. I think it's very interesting. I love the like progress report of the whole world, not the world map, but they're like their goals that they have mapped out by Senku. Where it's like, all right, we're going here, we're getting glass, so we can do this, and we're doing that.
Roadmaps are I love it. I don't even like look at what is actually on there. I love that it exists. And then when they have Mecha Senku in there, I was like, this is hilarious. I love Mecha Senku. He's like not even a part of it.
So it's like whenever Dr. Stone is on, I'm happy. And it's just a good show. Like I just really, really enjoy watching it. It's so much fun. It's interesting. I love the old concept of a shonen, but it's not a battle shonen. It's like a space race shonen. So you're trying to watch the main characters slowly work their way out of the Stone Age into the modern world. And it's like educational in a weird way as well, because a lot of the stuff in there is well researched and realistic. So it's like when he's making things like the light bulb, that's how you would make it. Is like a modern day light bulb? No. But he goes through the steps, he walks through it, and it's just like, oh, this is really, really cool. It feels like anime Bill Nye the Science Guy in such an interesting world with fantastic characters.
Oh,
that's awesome.
That's exactly it. It's Bill Nye the Science Guy.
It's so good.
And Bill Nye was Japanese.
Exactly. The art style is amazing. The characters are great. It's just a super solid show that's just fun to watch. And it's such an easy recommendation to people. Because you can just like, yo, man, check out Dr. Stone. It's really good.
Nobody at any point has done anything weird. It is like the anime to recommend with no disclaimers. None. I got like no triggers. I got no triggers for anything in there. Nobody does anything weird. There's like one moment that like maybe you could argue if someone has like a very specific trauma, like at the very beginning when before Senku gets his like neck fixed. That's like the only time. Yeah. That's like the only time.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, like Dr. Stone is just really solid. And it's crazy because you watch Sunken Rock and it's very adult and very graphic and very horny. So watching Dr. Stone being like this wholesome ass show is fantastic, dude. Watch and support Dr. Stone. I don't think that it gets enough love. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I know that it was like having a rocky time in Shonen Jump for a while until they kind of like course corrected. But I think Dr. Stone is amazing. And just because it doesn't have transformations or big boss battles and everything like that, like a Dragon Ball or Naruto, I think Dr. Stone is well worth it.
You know
if you have not been watching it, do it.
If you think about it, they do kind of have like boss battles.
Well, they do, because one dude's stronger than a lion or whatever.
It's not even just like Tsukasa, not from the first season. There's also the creepy dude from the second season. He also, and then there's going to be another one that's coming up soon, and I'm not going to say anything about it, but there's going to be another one, and that's going to be really good. I am so glad that they managed to push through and finish it, because if they had canceled it, I don't know what I would have done. I would have started a riot.
That's what I was worried about, because I would just hear like Dr. Stone isn't selling that well, or Dr. Stone was looking rough, and things like that. And I'm just like, but it's so good.
You just
it's
had
so
to
good.
hang in there. It's because nobody's getting beat up.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is just like, the Shonen Jump is a shonen magazine, so people want to see the teenage boys fighting God. You know what I mean? And Dr. Stone doesn't have that, but I think that Dr. Stone is special in that way, and it's amazing. So I'm very excited to read Marshall King. I'm going to try to read some so I can talk about it a little bit more with you on the next podcast episode. But I haven't had time to sit down and read it, because I believe both chapters you told me were like 43 pages, right?
Yes. I don't remember if the first one is longer, but the second one is 43 pages. They do kind of go like a little bit against like how Dr. Stone was, where there was like nothing special about anybody except for Senku like being really smart. And then everybody just was like a good person, like a person that was like good in a specific aspect. And then in Marshall King, the main character is just like a freaking god at being a cowboy. That's like the deal. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I mean, like, he's not like a superhero or anything. He's just really good at being a cowboy. So I'm excited to see where it goes, though, because his first display of his cowboy prowess was I mean, it wasn't like unique, like it's definitely been done before, but it is like a good starting point. So I'm excited. I just have to mentally separate. That's not Dr. Stone. Gen doesn't have a gun. Suika isn't aged up.
It's a different show where everybody looks the same. No, dude, that okay. So
I was thinking about it like in my mind, it's locked in like how Fairy Tail is. But in Fairy Tail, all their characters look exactly like Rave Master, and then in Fairy Tail and Rave Master, they all look like, if you've seen Eden Zero, they all look the same with like color swapped hair. They're all the same, but it's fine though because it's like the same. It's fine because they're like the same type of show. It's like if you were to take Fairy Tail and then suddenly it became like a K-drama. You're like, but you should be punching somebody.
True. It's crazy to me that guy keeps making the exact same manga over and over again, and they just keep letting him get away with it, and I love it.
So Eden Zero ended up like wrapping up very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think that one did well. I didn't read it or nothing, but
the idea was like fine, I guess, but it was like nothing special. Like it didn't really draw anyone. It was literally
I've
just
played these games before.
They focused in on the wrong thing. Okay, so they went with Haru having the cool sword, and then they went with Natsu and them having cool powers, and then they're just like, okay, well, what if Natsu didn't have like exceptional cool powers, and they just had like cool gear, I guess, and the gear was kind of dumb. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense, but all right. And then they're just like, okay, but what if he just like really wanted friends, okay, like really really bad, and you're like, he kind of does in Fairy Tail, like he's already done that, and they're like, okay, but like really bad. And so that's kind of where Eden Zero went, and then they're like, okay, well, there's no saving this one, so we're gonna let that one end. And another one that got a like different follow-up, but didn't have like the same art style. It did, but it was like the characters were obviously different. It wasn't like Haru to Natsu kind of deal. But when Naruto ended, he made Samurai 8, and Samurai 8 was a cool story. I like Samurai 8. I was excited to continue. Like, it's good.
But I never gave it a shot.
It was actually good. It was like, because I didn't know what to expect when I went into it, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna just give it a couple chapters, and I just kept reading it, and I was like, this is like actually good. And then it just ends, and you're like, and it doesn't like get canceled. It ends in the weirdest spot. You're like, was that the end? There's more, right? And like, it just felt so weird because it didn't like earn that ending, right? It was just like, oh, by the way, it's over, and you're like, is that a win? Do I win that? I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know how to like react to the ending because I didn't fully believe that it was over. It just felt so strange.
From what I remember, it was not doing well, and I think they just like, all right, wrap it up.
They're just like, screw it. Wrap it up.
Yep. Which sucks because it's like, I love Naruto and I was excited for Kishimoto to work on something new. Now I'm just like, I don't think that dude gonna do nothing. And now it's just Boruto because he's took over Boruto manga.
To go back.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, well, this sucks. I mean, the Boruto sequel, the two hurricanes or whatever it's called, Blue Vortex, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's been good. I was reading it and enjoying it.
Vortex, yeah.
Yeah. And now I think it's been on hiatus for 2 years now. Or I don't know if the manga
was released like monthly, and I didn't know what day it ever came out on, so sometimes I would just miss one.
Same. I don't know if the manga's still going. I could easily search it up, but I'm not going to. But I think the anime is
I'll still get it every now and then.
Okay, I think the anime has been on hiatus while they're trying to like figure out the manga stuff.
Kishimoto probably came back and was like, "Y'all need to chill. All right, you can't have 114 episodes of filler and expect it to do well. You can't do that."
That's insanity. That's insanity. And the thing is, it's like they had a manga to go off of. Well, they were like, "Nah, man, filler."
The problem was that the anime and the manga released at the same time, and then the manga was a monthly release, but the anime was a weekly release. So not only because anime usually takes a couple of chapters. So not only did they not have source material to go off of, but it was releasing the adaptation 4 times faster than the the chapters were coming out. So they're like, okay, well, we have to wait 8 months to get enough content for one episode.
Season
we're gonna release one episode a week. And they're like, can't do that. Like, that doesn't work.
I don't know about the going ons behind the scene, but that seemed like the most money hungry thing ever. Like, they were just like, we gotta fucking like really, really capitalize on Naruto and whatever we can make out of it.
And hey, if anybody followed along like I did, I got 113 episodes in before I just couldn't take it anymore. I didn't. I would like Naruto so much that I just gave it that much of a try. I was like, you just cannot screw it up this for forever. Like, eventually you're just gonna get one right. And it just never came. And I was like, I can't believe I watched 113 episodes and nothing good ever came of it.
Because, like, I love Naruto. I'm so happy that I lived in the era when Naruto was ongoing. Naruto was fantastic. Every convention I went to, everybody was dressed up as a Naruto character, cosplaying, talking about the new episode that came out, the manga, what's going to happen, who's Toby, all this stuff. Like, that was so much fun, dude. But once Shippuden ended and then the Boruto movie came out, I don't know if I talked about this previously on the podcast, I was just done. I was just like, all right, I'm tapping out here. I was like, we got the conclusion. Naruto's the Hokage. He had his kid. They had the whole story. The conclusion was fantastic.
Was awful. How dare they make Himawari ruin the Hokage ceremony?
So stupid. But yes, I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to go another 10 years of this. I was like, I'm done. I'm tapping out. You know, I love the show.
I was on the opposite end. Like, I was going to watch it, and I was like, I hope it gives me another 10 years of just like random BS to come out every week. Because it was just something like it was always there. So I was like, all right, keep it going. And then they're like, okay, well, how about we let Boruto take over? And I was like, I kind of want to see adult Naruto. Can you just go like Naruto Shippuden or something?
Naruto Dupuden. But no, like,
Naruto Dupuden.
It's so hard because it's like with Boruto, it's a huge ask for me. Because it's like, we saw Naruto and Sasuke's story, and they're still around. So when I see them getting washed by a bad guy, or I see them getting like kind of like put in the sidelines, I'm just like, if these guys that I know are pretty much gods in the world can't handle the situation, realistically, how does Boruto do it? You know what I mean? Like, obviously in the OG Naruto, you had Kakashi. He was a Jonin level, ninja. And you're just like, oh, he's very strong. And the kids are just like, they're doing what they can, early on in the Zabuza storyline, everything like that. But it felt like it made sense. You know what I mean? Like, Kakashi wasn't a god. He had limited... Naruto should be able to do everything. Every mission should just be run by Naruto clones. All the work around town should be run by Naruto clones. Like, everybody should just be living in a utopia where they chill. And his Naruto clones handle everything. They died, he gets the information. He's like, oh, that's information. Need to send more Naruto clones on this mission.
Imagine like, how overwhelming he would be if just like the big counter would be to just like kill 10 of them or like 100,000 of them at the same time. And then he just gets 100,000 people's worth of information at the same time.
that would be crazy, but I think that would be an interesting story.
Because then imagine that actually happening, and like Shikamaru was like in the room, right? Now you gotta figure out why Naruto's head just exploded.
Oh no, he just killed my boy Naruto. But yeah, it just feel like Sasuke and Naruto were constantly being nerfed to let the kids have the spotlight, and I just thought that was lame.
The like main one that I was like, a lot of people were mad about, but I was like, it makes sense, I guess, was when Sasuke got nerfed, and they like, in order to do it, they had to take out his Rinnegan, and everyone's like, he should have seen that coming. And it's like, well, he just fought Jigen, and he was like out of chakra because he's not Naruto. He doesn't have an unlimited amount of chakra, so he was out. Deactivated his Sharingan and Rinnegan. He was exhausted, and then Boruto comes out of nowhere. Like, there's no world where you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. I figured that could happen. Like, of course he's gonna get caught off guard, and he got hit immediately in the Rinnegan eye. So it's like, that sucks. He's clearly here to get nerfed, but it makes sense how that happened to me.
I think it's fine, but I just feel like you shouldn't, like, I think it's bad writing. And I think that's one of the things that Gege talked a lot about in Jujutsu Kaisen, where it's like Gojo's very strong. And you have shows like that where it's like, this character's very strong. Like Kenpachi or somebody.
Don't write them out of the show unless you have to.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay,
But the kind of deal was is that he did
somewhere
have
else.
to. Like, you do have to write. If you want the story to go to Boruto and the next generation, you have to get rid of Naruto and Sasuke. They are basically gods. So they have to get rid of them somehow. And
just dude, this is what Bleach does that I love. It's just give everybody somebody to fight. If you want them out of the story, just have Naruto and Sasuke have to fight a big guy, and then have Boruto and them have to fight another big guy, and they have to be separated, and then that's good. Naruto and Sasuke get their dub, Boruto and them get their dub. Because in Bleach, everybody gets their guy. Does everybody win? No, because Chad's in the show. But everybody gets up here.
Yeah, but then they do the Bleach thing where, like, everybody, like, people start to lose, and then Ichigo just cleans up, and it's like...
Well, he's the main character. I mean, true. There's another thing that I hate about Bleach as well. This is totally off topic. But the other thing I hate about Bleach is how they make like the enemy team feel like the main characters as well. So they'd be like hanging out and telling jokes and shit like that.
As strong as the main character, and then everybody on the main character team starts losing, so that he has to out main character the enemy main characters.
It's just like I always was just like, dude, they shouldn't like. I just want them to be evil. Like they shouldn't be joking around and hanging out and having fun. And like they just feel like the other main characters that y'all was trying to fight. I was like, I want somebody to be evil, and then it's like the one guy that's always like, I'm the real big evil guy. I felt like that with the what is the wrong card? What was the arc? The one where you lost his powers and you got the weird swastika ability. Yeah, the Fullbringer arc where he was, with them or whatever. Then they were like, "Oh, we're bad guys. We're gonna steal your powers or whatever." And it was like they just feel like a group of friends. But then the one guy that was super duper evil at the end, I was like, "Oh no, he the real evil. He'll implant yourself in his memories."
And then all of them come back and magically have the ability to return the power to Ichigo, and then he is just magically stronger than this guy who has been like working for decades or whatever.
Dude,
he got main character plotted right there super hard.
I don't like that arc at all.
And it's because still not the worst plot armor I've ever seen.
yeah. But yeah, it just is a thing. But it just sucks whenever you have like a character that's really, really strong. And it's a character like if it was somebody I didn't care about, like if it was like Killer Bee, no, I like Kill Bee, but if it's like somebody else, then I'm like, okay, that's fine.
What's the water dude's name? Suigetsu?
Oh, you mean the fish boy?
Yeah, the fish boy, the budget Kisame.
Yeah,
off screen that guy. Nobody cares about that guy.
Exactly. Have him be like Boruto's mentor for some reason, and just have him get ass blasted smithereens. But it always felt like not believable that Naruto and Sasuke would constantly get fucked like they did, and then just like constantly get nerfed.
I think it was supposed to go the other way. That it was like it's not that they weren't capable of beating him. It was that guy was so powerful that he beat the both of them. And so it was like, no, Boruto has to find a way to overcome this insane hurdle. And the one jutsu he gets to do it is like, to me, I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. How does that even work? For anybody who, it's a pretty old jutsu now. It's been out for like several months, like probably almost a year. For anybody who has not been reading the manga, he does get like a new jutsu. They've talked about it for several months. I don't know when the anime is going to get to it, but like slight manga spoilers for whatever. And he gets one called Rasengan Yuzahiko, and it's like whenever you hit somebody, or like the first time that you hit somebody with it active, they just get vertigo really bad. Yeah. And the power just comes from the rotation of the earth. And I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense.
I still don't, I don't understand it. I think it's dumb. Like, they just really wanted to take the whole rotation ability of the Rasengan and turn it into a thing.
Yeah, they just want to make it Boruto's.
Yeah. And it's just like
they should have just stayed with the invisible one. The vanishing Rasengan was cool. Like, I like that one because it was just the wind. It was the Rasen Shuriken with a different element. And I was like, that's cool. I kind of want to see more of those now. So like Boruto had like 4 elements. Like what was he good at? I knew he could do lightning, which was like the vanishing one. He could do wind. If he could do Rasen Shuriken, I think he could do water. So come up with something with that. Make it a disc and throw it. I'm like, well, the wind one kind of already does that. So I don't know. What would they even do? What would they even do with the water Rasengan?
That's the interesting thing, because that was my thing with Naruto, right? Naruto as a character, he didn't have all the cool elements and stuff, like Sasuke fireballs, Kakashi lightning, everything like that. Naruto didn't have that for a long time. He was just like, I'm Clone Man and I'm gonna beat you up. And I was like, that's cool. But then I was like, oh, his son isn't just clone man. I'm gonna beat you up. He has access to the other jutsus that Naruto couldn't do. And I was like, that's interesting. Have him be a jack of all trades. Like, have him be the next generation of Kakashi or something like that, where he's creating these new like combined moves and added elements to things that we already know.
At the beginning, where he comes out with what he called the Boruto stream, and I was like, oh shit! He makes 2 shadow clones. They use Gale Force Palm to push him so that he can use a really fast lightning spell, and I was like, that's cool. Do more of that.
That's and then they're like, he should be doing that.
And then they're like, okay, well, but what if he cheats and makes more stuff?
I'm just like that was like, if they wanted to go the anti-Naruto route, he should do that. Naruto is like Ichigo.
That would have been a really good opportunity for them to like go deeper into the chakra system, because they tell you in Naruto about how natures and shapes are used to form their jutsus. Having the next generation not be able to simply win by numbers, and they would have had to be like more creative with their jutsus, that would have been a good chance for Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke to explain how they can create their own jutsus using this chakra molding ability. Like, what's his name? I don't remember. The guy that's in Konohamaru's team. It's not Moegi. It's the dude who's always got the snot bubble. He makes his own jutsu out of the snot bubble, and I would never fight that guy ever.
I would vomit on him.
As soon as his nose started inflating into an attack bubble, I'm like, all right, I'm done. You got me. It's over. I'm done.
Dude, him and Shino, I'd be like, you're not finna bug me to death.
First time he put his hand out and a roach crawls out of his sleeve, I'm like, that's your plan. I am going that way. Like, you win this round, bug boy.
Like,
I ain't fighting a bug dude. It's not happening.
When Shino explained his abilities in the Chunin exam, and he was just like, I just got little ports in my body.
I just have bugs living inside my body, and no big deal.
I was like, what is wrong with y'all?
Came up with this, and then they're like, you know what? That is kind of creepy. What if we just don't use him?
I was just like, he was so busted, and they didn't use him. The whole Sasuke retrieval stuff was so cool. He was just like, oh, I placed one bug on you. It's a tracer bug. It's been eating your chakra the entire time and leaving pheromones on you. So other bugs are doing you, and you didn't realize that you've been covered in bugs the whole time. And he just like, the person would look down and be like, what do you mean I'm covered in bugs? And they would just like have bugs all on their arm. Like, how do you not feel that, man? And then they just get eaten alive. And I'm just like, why is this dude not doing this to everybody? They eat chakra. So it's just like the one thing that everybody needs to use to do their stuff, it eats that. And he just fill people with bugs and kill them. But they were like, no, he's too powerful. Let him just stay home.
Rock in the background.
Yeah. And then they were like, hey, you want to, dude? And the thing with Shino is, I love Shino so much. He's so cool. They ruined his Boruto like fit. His like time skip look is so bad.
His Boruto outfit is really bad. They did so many of the adults dirty in Boruto.
Dude, it sucked.
Even Naruto got the kind of dork haircut as the
he's
dad.
So ugly.
They couldn't have made it grow out like Minato. They had to give him the like weird buzz cut.
It's the so low taper ugly. Yeah, because they have Naruto have a low taper face. Like, it pissed me off, man. Naruto looks so dumb. And they had the blueprint already to make him cool, dude. But it became like this weird main character cursed in shonen because Ichigo's hair looked dumb. Ichigo's hair looked fine-ish. It looks worse than his normal hair.
But his not being cool as shit is a criminal offense. Because
Bleach has so much style.
Well, the problem I have with specifically Ichigo is they already did it right. They did it right once. when they made Ichigo train in the wherever the hell that place was for 2 years,
time chamber.
He came out with the coolest hair. That was fire. And then
the Ichigo mullet was awesome.
And then they just didn't give it back to him when he grew up normally. And you're like, come on, dude, you already had it. You did it right the first time. Just do it again.
It's got to be in their contract that's shown in Jump where there's like, you got to give your main character this fucking hair. It's massive.
First they got to start off colorful, and then they got to get real short.
Because when you get old, you get boring. Just like, But yeah, so it's just I don't know. It's just a part of it. We went on this whole, I didn't even expect to talk about Boruto today. But no, man, I love Naruto. I'm a huge fan of Naruto. I wish Boruto was better, and I'm not going to lie, the manga's really good. So if you guys feel like we're just clowning on Boruto, I mean, mostly from my side, I like the manga. I actually started reading it. I'm just like, oh, this is way better than what I've been seeing from the anime.
Is amazing.
Yeah, that's
the
crazy.
Power, the power that we mentioned earlier, little cop out, but it's still good. And he hasn't like abused it. He's got like a weird condition on it that it takes.
Okay, can I talk about that a little bit more? Because I was reading the 2 Blue Vortex, right? And then he was like hyping his ability up. He's like, you don't want me to hit me with this shit. You don't want me to hit me with this shit. And then he finally does it.
And he's like, you're already dead. Omae wa mo shindeiru.
Yeah, and then the character's just like, oh. And I was like, this lame as hell. He gave you a passive status effect.
It feel really cheap for him to, like, his ability to win was to just make the other guy motion sick. And I was like,
and you're like, oh, I gotta throw up, and I'm just like, this is lame.
Like,
at
it
least
makes
put him
sense.
in like a mind trap.
Like, if you mess up a professional fighter's sense of balance, it's over for them. But like, that's boring. It's boring. I don't want to see. Especially anybody just like keel over because they can't stand up straight.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, my tummy hurting.
And it wasn't even like he had to hit him really hard either. He was like, I just have to make contact.
Yeah, it was so lame to me. Like, I get it. Like, I feel like the dude was just like, dude, this is gonna be so interesting. This is gonna be so cool. Rotation. Oh, it's gonna be like a medical thing as well.
You know what else
rotates?
So cool. Earth.
And I was like, Naruto is throwing planetary destructions at people, man. And you want me to get hyped over? Oh, I got a queasy stomach. I got a little doo doo in my gut. And I'm just like, I don't care about this. This isn't interesting at all.
Then put me to the bathroom. Jarvis,
just like, Naruto just fighting everybody and just giving people upset stomachs, so they gotta go take a shit, and you're like, I won. It's just like, what? Anyway, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna keep rapping about it. Boruto's really cool. I'm excited to see the anime come back and hopefully be faithful to the manga. Hopefully they do. Okay, this is another weird thing. Hopefully they do like a retcon, which is something I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but One Punch Man is in a weird state right now, manga wise. You know anything about what's going on?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I've seen bits and pieces as it like came out, but it's been a while since I've seen anything about it. Like I didn't get to see One Punch Man season 2 at all. I did get to see Garo, like Planet or Universal Garo, and then after Universal Garo, nothing. I didn't see anything beyond that. I just like when radio silence, I thought it was over after that. I thought like once Garo was done, like that was the last of it.
No. So this is what's going on currently. The manga is still going on. The webcomic is still going on as well. But they've done this thing, and I'm going to explain this to you real quick, and I want to hear your opinion on it. They've retconned an arc in One Punch Man. So there was this Ninja Village arc that's going on currently, right? And in the manga, it was going. It was like the whole cool thing they were kind of exploring. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but they were exploring Blast's character, who, Blast is like the #1 hero. So it's like, oh, you finally get to see more of him and what he's been doing and what's going on with him. And they were going through the arc, and it was super interesting, really fun. It was like all this stuff going on with like the Ninja Village, so Speed of Sound Sonic and Flashy Flash and all this stuff like that. Really interesting. And then they just retconned it. And they just like, we're going back to the beginning of the arc and we're going to redo it again. And then they pretty much retold the story, but making some slight changes to characters, changing some dialogue and things like that. And I was like, this is weird.
The anime like took the village out of the show. Is that what you're telling me?
They didn't take it out. They just retold the arc again with differences. So the Ninja Village arc starts, and you're meeting all these characters, and you're getting into Sonic's backstory, and they're going into this whole thing. And then, like, after 30 chapters, they're just like, no, we want to redo this. It's not good enough. And they go back to the beginning and retell the story again. Now, Vix, I want you to hear me on this one.
So the manga retcons itself.
Yes, the manga's retconning itself.
Immediately after.
Yep. It's crazy.
That's weird.
Vix, no, it gets even worse. They just did it a second time. So the Ninja Village art is retconned again for the second time. So there's been 3 tellings of the story so far. The second retcon is starting now. So they're like maybe 2 or 3 chapters into the new version of that story.
Is there a reason?
I don't know. I legitimately don't know the reason. They haven't came out and said it. They just are tweaking things.
And like every time they retell the story, it's like some random person in the village just has like a war criminal's name, and they're like, shit.
We should have named this guy Hitler Jr. Fuck. But no, it's Okay, so I'm a Western comic books fan, right? So retcons aren't nothing new to me. They change up people's powers, they change up people's origin stories. There's a sliding time scale in Marvel comic books because obviously they've been coming out since the 60s and characters don't make sense, in the modern day. So they retcon and change stuff all the time. So I'm kind of used to it, but I don't know, and maybe somebody can correct me, if this has ever happened in a manga where they retcon a story arc and then just change it. This is the
Usually
first time I've actually seen it.
I don't recall it ever happening. Really, it's not something that normally happens in manga. But if they ever did, then it's usually not right away.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like the arc was going on, and they were just like, this is bad. We're going back and we're redoing it, and it's crazy to me because
they just want you to see behind the scenes. They're like, yeah, we do this sometimes.
Yeah, because it's like the thing is that it's the story isn't drastically different. As soon as they manage
to finish it, they're gonna announce the new villain, Brett Kahn.
Oh my, really?
From Rick and Morty. He's already out there. He's already been designing everything, just ripping right out of Rick and Morty. And it would make sense because it's One Punch Man. They're goofy like that.
You want to know what, like, when they first did it, I was like, oh, this is genius. Because you know what's going to happen? It's going to be like the time space thing is broken. So like all three of these retcon or the two retcon universes are going on at the same time, but there are two parallel universes going on and they're going to come together at some point. And that's why they retconned it. But no, it just seems like they were just like, we don't like this. We're going to just do it again.
It could
like,
still happen. It could still happen.
It could technically could still happen. I thought that would be interesting because if you know anything about the Garo versus Saitama fight, it kind of goes into that realm where they do all kind of crazy things and Saitama just breaking his limits and doing all kind of insane stuff. So I was hoping like they would do that again, but instead it would be with the parallel timelines. And then plus, right now multiverse stuff is going crazy and Marvel comic books and everything. If you're watching Invincible stuff like that, like that's a huge part of like the cultural zeitgeist. So I thought they may be doing something like that, where it's like these two stories are playing out differently simultaneously. But I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if there's any like interview or anything like that. I didn't know if maybe one came in and was like, hey, I want you guys to tell it like this. Because obviously One Punch Man, there are already two stories. There's a webcomic that's done by the creator of One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100. And he just draws his webcomic because he was like an independent artist for a long time. And he just, he's not the best artist, but he's a really good writer and people like his stuff. And then they made One Punch Man by Yusuke Murata, the artist and mangaka for Ice Shield 21. I forget his other manga, is escaping me right now, but he's a fantastic artist. So there's like, hey, you animate or you draw the manga for One Punch Man, and then we'll just go based off the one's current webcomic stuff. It's kind of weird because normally you get an adaptation in like an anime form. So you have the manga, a source material, then you got to adapt it to anime. But we got a webcomic being adapted into a manga, being adapted into an anime. So it's like weird 3 steps of separation. But it just was an oddity to me that's currently going on. Is just having a whole story arc be retconned is just a new thing to me. Like you'll have story elements, like say in Dragon Ball. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, right? They retcon how the Potara earrings work in Dragon Ball. Before it was like, oh, if you fuse together, you're stuck forever. So it's Supreme Kai, Kibito, they were stuck as Kibito Kai for forever. And in the Super, they retconned it where it's like, oh, well, if you're not a Kai, it only lasts for an hour. And I'm just like, so that gets rid of the whole weight of Vegeta and Goku being stuck as one person for forever. And they did a lot of retcons like that. But those are like story elements. I'm just like, whatever, Dragon Ball is stupid anyway. But like a whole story arc.
We're here for the big fights.
Exactly. We're here for the big fights. Exactly. So, it was just like odd to me that, and I'm just like, I've never seen a manga do that before. And so it's insane. Like it being not tied to the story in some kind of way. It just being like, yo, we fucked up. We want to do this again. So it's kind of weird because it's just like, I feel like for One Punch Man, there's going to be people who are just like, oh, I read this arc originally. I read the arc the second time. I read this arc the third time. And then people having like different memories of what that arc was. Because some people might not go back.
Mandela effect on this.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, well, I remember
never a cornucopia.
Yeah, it's just, oh, dude, I don't even want to go into that. It makes me feel like I'm going insane. But yeah, it's just weird, man. And I love One Punch Man. I think it's great, but they need to get it together because I don't like that. I legitimately don't like the retcon and stuff. I think it feels bad as a fan keeping up with everything for them to just
little
like
stuff is probably fine. Like
on.
I'd probably be fine with it, especially if the like entire thing is not based around the story. But if you do it too many times, then you're like forced to pay attention to it, and it's not like you can just let it go anymore. It's like, hey, really pay attention. This is the third time we told you.
Yeah, and it's only like there's some story elements that change. There's some characters that get involved. There's some dialogue choices that are changed. There's information that's given out earlier than it was in the previous version of the story. So things are changing and are interesting, but She's like, how many times can I see y'all, tell
At
the same
least
story
try to
over? I want
hide
some
it or
progression.
something. Like maybe have somebody else reminisce about it, and so like their perspective might be different, and like give me a reason to like pass it off. You can't just like fix it and then be like, nah, this still suck.
Yeah, it's odd, but it is something that's been going on recently, and I just been like, what is like? I love One Punch Man. It's fantastic. I love the manga, but yeah, it's just one weird thing going on in manga that I just find an oddity that I've never seen before in this long time of me being a manga fan.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really noticed like nothing. Definitely never seen anybody just like retcon an entire arc before.
Like, another thing, I guess staying in Dragon Ball. Toriyama did do that, but it's not the same. But he did do it with the Bardock stuff and Broly. But he took
So the Broly stuff I thought was like not official until like the like one movie in Super, I think, and then the like Bardock stuff. I never saw any of the Bardock stuff,
so the History of Trunks, the Bardock special, and the films aren't technically canon. But characters are. So like Bardock was Goku's father,
right?
But technically the story wasn't canon. So when Toriyama did Dragon Ball Minus, which is like the prologue chapter, like in more recent years when the Super movies and the Super anime were coming out, he kind of like retconned a lot of like Bardock's backstory. So it's not the same. So there's two versions of Bardock, two versions of Broly. So there's like warrior, Saiyan low class warrior version of Bardock that's cool and metal and has rock music. He's killing everybody, and his red bandana is dyed with the blood of his fallen comrades, and it's super sick. And there's Dragon Ball Super Bardock, which is kind of like that, but he's also like a scientist, and he cares about his family, and he always cared about Goku and stuff like that. And he's like a loving husband. He had a wife, and all these changes. So
where's the bloodlust?
yeah. But so it's like Toriyama was just like, I want to make this canon, but I want to make it canon my way. And I feel like he was doing a lot of that before he passed, because he did it with Broly. Everybody loves Broly. Broly has been one of the most popular characters in Dragon Ball, just in general. But he was never actually like a canon character. And then with the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, they gave him a whole new origin. He wasn't just mad at Goku and calling him Kakarot because Goku cried when he was a baby, which was so stupid. Even when I was a teenager, I was like, this is so dumb. He hates Goku so much because he cried a lot when he was a baby. I get it. Crying babies are annoying, but this is his whole plot. I feel like
if you are also a baby, that shouldn't really bother you at that point.
Yeah, that's messed up.
He's got trauma, and he just dreams about Goku crying every night.
Exactly. That's like me being out and about and like, you listening to hip hop? You know what I mean?
Not in my
time to fight you, other black guy. But no, like it's so odd. But then the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie came out, and it was fantastic. And now Broly's canon. And he's hanging out and training with Goku and Vegeta with Beerus and stuff like that. And that's awesome. So a lot of that stuff got retconned. I don't even know if you would call it a retcon. Like it kind of does, because for most of the fans, like we knew it was a canon, but we treated it like it was canon. So when you think about Broly, you think about Dragon Ball Z Broly. You think about Bardock, you think about Z Bardock. But now those non-canon elements and characters are now canon, but different.
Now you gotta like rewire your thoughts on the characters. You're like, it's the same but different. Same.
Yeah, but and not to spoil exactly. It's not to spoil anything that's going crazy, but the said chat. I feel like everybody already seen it. They done the same thing with canonizing a GT transformation in Super Saiyan 4 in the current run of Dragon Ball Daima. I feel like that's fine to say. Yep. So Goku has a new primal transformation, and it's just Super Saiyan 4, and it's sick.
You know what? Good.
It looks awesome, and I'm glad, because that's my favorite transformation. He's red. He has like
big arms.
He kind of looks.
No,
his Vegeta was red, but his hair was black.
Oh, okay.
So his hair is red now in this new version of primal transformation or whatever it is. I'm not caught up on Daima because I don't have free time. I will be caught up because that's hype as fuck. But it's been everywhere. I got spoiled immediately. I opened my eyes, and literally behind my eyelids was a picture of this fucking spoiler. And I'm just like, oh. Like immediately I woke up and got spoiled. But it looks like Super Saiyan 4. He has the fur. It's a little different. He's red now, so it's kind of like Super Saiyan God. And he has like big forearms. Well, that's Dragon Ball Daima in general. They're all kids.
So that he skips Super Saiyan like 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, he goes 1, 2, and 3 in the show. They're not actual babies. They got wished to being babies.
Oh,
because the villains of the show were just like, these guys too fucking strong.
Oh, so
the kids,
what was that? Garlic
Jr.
Jr. did that.
Yep. So it's just GT. Staying on point is Toriyama taking things that weren't canon, like GT, making it his version of canon, which is Daima.
Weird as a kid SS4.
He does.
I don't like that. Oh, that's so weird.
Welcome, Vix. Welcome to the Daima discussion that's been going on for months that you apparently missed. A lot of people are just like, I don't fucking like Daima. They're fucking kids. This is lame as hell.
I mean, I don't mind that they're kids, and I don't mind that they brought Super Saiyan 4 back. It's just like the design of Super Saiyan 4 Goku just looks really weird.
If he was an adult, it looked like that?
Yeah, I think I'd be chill. Like if he had the same, it looks like he's growing into the design that would have been in GT. So like in the future it'll be fine, but right now it looks so weird. It looks so weird,
dude. Vix, like, okay, I want to say this right now. I totally we got on so many tangents. I talk about any anime I watched this week. We clickbaited, you idiots. No, sure, but no, like Daima is beautiful. It's so well animated. It's so fun. It's amazing. But a lot of people aren't messing with it, or at least weren't, because they are kids, and it's kind of like, oh, you know, we're doing the whole GT thing again. Like,
yeah, I actually don't mind that they're like kids or anything. So
I don't mind it either. I love that. Again, Super Saiyan 4 is my favorite transformation. I'm so glad that it kind of made it canon and kind of like made it made it their own. So it's slightly different. I don't know if it's ever going to come back in the future. I don't think so. But hey, at least it'll be cool, and then we can get it in a video game. So I'm a happy boy. Daima's been killing it, and I've been a lot of fun. And I feel like if you've been watching Daima, you've been rewarded by a bunch of cool stuff. I hate that the fan base is just like, it ain't got them fighting all the time. It's not a good show. But I really been enjoying Daima. I'm just a little behind because, as you guys know, if you've been around, I work, I stream, I sleep, I be boyfriend. So I miss out on a lot of stuff. That's my whole life is just that. So I'm trying to catch up where I can. I did watch anime. I could talk about it briefly at the tail end of the podcast. Like, I want to start talking about the anime I watch, and then you just roll the credits. I'm just like, wait.
So this week I got to watch. Bum, 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 bum.
All right. So I'll talk about one thing that I watch, and then I'll save the titillated stuff for next podcast episodes. So I watch Shangri-La Frontier. So, as you know, Vic, you were telling me, shut up. But no, like, we were talking about a really, really cool pivotal moment that happens in a new season. So I was very excited. I was trying to stay as fresh as I can so I can give you guys my unfiltered, unadulterated, pure, straight from the vein take on it. I've been really enjoying Shangri-La Frontier. I've talked about it past on the podcast. I don't get it. I don't know why I like Shangri-La Frontier so much. Like, it feels like it shows up my alley. It's fun.
It's because I know exactly why it is. I know exactly why I like it so much. It is the game I want to play.
Yes.
That's what it is. It is specifically the game I want to play. If that game were to come out, I would do all of that crazy shit. I might not be, Sun Raku or anything. I might not be the attack master, but I could be the obscure person out of second drama who wants to shoot Sun Raku because he's got the bird head. I want a bird head accessory. Why can't I start with that?
Hey, you could be a bird head in Elden Ring, Night Ring. But yes, so I watched Shangri-La Frontier. I'm enjoying it so much. I love the characters. I love the world. I love them trying to play this game and explore it and really enjoy it. It's fun. It's a good time. Oh my God, the animation is insane. Whenever they get to a pivotal fight, they kick it up, dude. They kick it up. And so I was like sitting there waiting and watching it and really enjoying it, waiting for that moment. Because I didn't know what it was. I just know you told me it was a really cool attack called Apocalypse. And I was like, all right, I'm down for it. And then as they build up towards the fight, so Sun Raku, Rin, aka the Attack Master, Saiger Zero, they're on the journey with everybody together. You got the two, I forget what the bunnies' names are now, but you got the Bunny Girl.
One of them's like
Bunny Swordsman.
I feel like I know the name, but it's like if I say it in English, it sounds wrong.
Yeah. So you got the bunnies and everything like that. You got like Pencil Gon and everybody together, and it's really, really, really cool. And I've been really enjoying it. I love the characters. They even add stakes in just randomly because, like, if the NPCs die, they die forever. I was like, oh. So it's like it's not. Oh my God, it's not Sword Art Online. There we go. It's not Sword Art Online, but there are some stakes.
If the things that aren't real die, then they get to stay dead, and it's like I shouldn't care about that, but I do.
But I do because I love Himmel, not Himmel. I'm thinking about Fearin. I don't remember the character's name. Bunny Girl. Yeah, Von Fearin is good. But then we get to the big fight against not Withermon. What is the curse of what's the big wolf?
Lycagon?
Lycagon, there we go. Like, why did they all sound like Digimon? But yes, the Lycagon battle in season 2 of Shangri-La Frontier, and you get to watch the team come together for this raid, and they're like talking about pulling aggro, and they're trying to come up with a way to do it. They run into random ninja girl who's like a fan of Sunraku or whatever. She's just like a ninja that's kind of weak, but also kind of cool.
Do you know who that is? The ninja girl?
No. Oh wait, no. I do know. She was the girl, or I guess I didn't know it was a girl at the time.
I didn't know it was a girl. That's why I couldn't figure it out. I was like, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah, so she was inside the Broken Buggy game where he was doing the fighting game.
Yeah,
where he was, like,
he was the one that did the mimicked like flying punch or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they actually brought that guy back? I thought he was just like some like fodder. I was ready for him to just never come back. I was like, I'm chill with that. Just goodbye.
I love that they're doing that with characters. Like when
and then Roos and Moss came from the Robo one. And
yes, that was cool.
Now they're doing the like pirate ship. This is a game that I would die to play. I would love to play this game. I just want to see what I can do. Get this on VR. I got a VR headset. I got the knuckle controllers. Let me do it. I can do it.
Yes. Microwave my brain. Get me trapped in there.
If Shangri-La Frontier gets announced and it gets overwhelmingly positive reviews, I'll go out and buy the omnidirectional treadmill right now. Put it on my card.
But so they there's a lot of build up, and again, if you guys are watching Shangri-La Frontier, if you're not watching it, this will be like a mild spoiler. But they're on the fight to go and track. Well, actually, they're not even trying to track down wolf name again.
Lycagon.
There we go. Lycagon. I keep thinking Bakuman, but anyway, Lycagon, they're just going on an adventure to go take care of some stuff, and literally Sunraku's like, I just need to get past here to get to the next village so we can start this other stuff that we're doing. And they just randomly run into the group of like the beast tamers who, for whatever reason, just acting very, very like weird. Like they were all just chatting earlier this season, be like, yeah, we're all gonna be buddy and hanging out and doing stuff. And they're like, you're in here when I hunt.
That the like zoo people, they like did all of this research to find Lycagon, and then they all get rocked. And I was like, okay, fine, that makes sense, because obviously they didn't have any information on Lycagon, like how the fight actually plays out. And then they're like, if they die, they should respawn, right? If I was them, I would book it back to that spot. Like, you think I would not be just I would be hauling ass to get back to that spot. But Sunraku and the Attack Master and all of them, they just fight for so long. You think nobody was gonna make it back there?
They just logged out for a night. It's like, oh, we got ass beat. They got tilted. Yeah, they got tilted. They're like, oh, we waited here for 55 hours, and it just lost immediately. But yeah, so the fight just, is focused around the main characters. You got Cyber Zero, who is, I forget her actual name, but she's like, tell Samuraku, like, oh, call me Ren and everything like that. And they're building like their little relationship.
So he calls her Reishi, and I was like, I don't remember what your name is. So I know you're Cyber Zero, you're the Attack Master, and Samuraku calls you Reishi.
I'm watching it dubbed.
What do they call her? What do they call her in English?
I think Ren.
Just Ren?
Yeah. He's either Ren or Ray. I can't remember now.
Probably Ray would make sense.
I think it's Ray. Again, I have not slept. So my memory is garbage right now. But yeah, so anyway, they're all fighting Lycagon, and it's really fucking cool. Like, there's moments in like one of the episodes where like you can tell the animation shifts, and they're just like, yo, put the budget in this motherfucker. Because you get like Sunraku running around.
It is
like
time.
You get goofy Sunraku. Yeah, you get goofy Sunraku where he's just like dodging and jumping around and doing his abilities or whatever. Like it's all 3-4 leap and all stuff. And it's like, it still looks good, it looks solid. But then all of a sudden it's like movie budget. And he's like jumping around, dipping around, attacking. It looks amazing. And then you have this whole, I don't know, they foreshadow the Attack Master's ultimate move. And she's like, I have to hit these requirements to do it.
The whole time so you're like, it better be epic, because the requirements on that thing, that would suck ass to have to go through that. You gotta hit 5 of 2 different stance skills, and they have long ass cooldowns.
So you have to hit, what is it, Catastrophe and Armageddon. And you got to hit those 5 times each.
On the same Armageddon target.
Or is Apocalypse? Yeah, on the same target to unlock Armageddon, which is the ultimate move. And so their whole game plan is to really just buy time, do what they got to do to survive, so that she's able to unlock that to do it. So they're like making opportunities for Cyber Zero to hit those moves. And you watch them build up their strategies, work together as a team, and get to that point. And when they do, and she's like, I'm ready. And they're like, oh, it's about to kick off. I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for. I'm pulling out my like popcorn bucket. I'm eating good. I'm having fun. I'm ready. And then she does it, and the world goes white. And it's like a huge tornado.
She hits it so hard, they go back to the manga panels.
They go back to the manga. And I always love that in an anime when things go like blistering white and it's like the blurred lines and it just looks like straight up like a scratch pad going. It looks amazing. And she does the move and it's incredible. And I was like, I get why Vix and everybody in Discord was hyping it up. And I was like, this is phenomenal. And then they were just like, oh, yeah, but you didn't really win. Just like,
I mean, it was kind of a slap in the face, but at the same time, you're like, okay, fair enough. That would have been weird if this was the point, if like right now was the time that he got rid of his mark. And then the goofy part was just like, okay, but we have a stronger mark now. And only Sonraku got it. Like the rest of them didn't get it. Imagine Tackmaster getting the mark.
And not having to wear the armor?
She couldn't wear anything but the helmet.
Dude, that would be sick. That would be sick.
For her playstyle, that would suck ass. It only works for Sonraku, though.
It would suck. But I think that'll be interesting character development because she's too fucking strong. But anyway, really, really good. Shangri-La Frontier has been amazing. I'm still a little behind. I'm still a couple episodes behind. I haven't like caught up fully. But once I saw that, I was like, I done busted. I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I am content. So I'm gonna watch the rest of it and catch up because I'm loving Shangri-La Frontier. But I was just like, okay, now it's time for me to move on to the next show that I wanted to watch and catch up on. And that was ReZero.
Oh,
and I am
also just starting.
Oh,
I just got through like 4 episodes of the first part of the season, and I don't know what it was about the first 2 deaths, but that was like really uncomfortable to watch. Like it was obviously that means it's really well designed because that's what they're supposed to do. But like it's not like I haven't seen Subaru get eaten by rabbits before. Why was this dude being dropped from 8 stories up so disturbing?
Because it was like I didn't know what was going on.
You know what I mean? And I was like what's happening? And then suddenly the entire square of their head just explodes, and I was like, what?
That dude, that was so good. It was so well done. I've been loving ReZero. The second part of season 3 has come out, and I'm up to date. And I'm mad that I am because I want more. But I'll just give my brief general opinions of ReZero season 3 because I don't want to spoil anything if you guys haven't caught up or anything like that. And plus, we're running out of time for the podcast. But I will give my full thoughts in the next episode of DNAnime Podcast. So be here for the 45th episode. I just want to say that this is really good. So I know we talked about season 3, and I was like, oh, I'm going to start it. But every time I sat down, the first episode was an hour and a half, and I'm just like, dude, I don't have an hour and a half to like sit down and watch this right now. I'm glad that because you asked me before, like, how do I feel about that? And I'm normally fine with watching long episodes of anime. I'm just like, oh, it's just more whatever I love. But for ReZero, I was just like, I was watching it. I'm just like, nothing's really happening, you know, in this first episode.
Yeah, I was just kind of vibing for a while,
yeah. Like all the characters kind of like meet back up. You kind of get like a sit rep. Like this is a small spoiler, but at the beginning of the first episode, small spoiler here, Subaru's training. He's just like on this weird like military course that he made out of like twigs and pine and straw, whatever.
From?
I don't remember that. I was like, when did he was like, I'm gonna get a whip? Like he just has a whip.
It wasn't even just like he had a whip. It was like he was a master at using that whip. And it was like, that ain't something you just pick up and you could just use. It ain't like a sword where you can swing it.
I feel like they go again. This is one of the things that's a huge like through line through season 3. I guess technically ReZero in general, but I feel like they go out of their way to make Subaru as lame as possible. He doesn't get a sword. He gets just like a plain ass whip. His one magical ability gives him indigestion and he can only do it like once. Like he sucks so bad. But one of the through lines that I love about his character in the season is a thing that another character says to him, where it's like, Subaru, you're not as strong as I am, but you will make up for what I lack. And I love that so much because Subaru does have a different perspective on the world because he ends up being
forced to be extremely resourceful. So that's kind of like, and a lot of the people are like so used to being able to solve their problems with magic that they don't get the opportunity to like have those perceptions where like things could go wrong, because normally it's like I can just magic my way out, or like I can get my leg reattached because magic. They don't have to think about things like that where Subaru does.
Yep. And that's what I'm really, really enjoying it. And it really goes to show how much Subaru has grown as a character through the 3 seasons of ReZero, how his relationship has grown with the other throne contenders and the other characters in the show, how his relationship grows with them and they trust him and he trusts them. So even through, because like the whole thing with ReZero, you know, if you watch in the beginning of the season, it's just like, watch Subaru go through hell and try to figure out what's going on and struggle and die and repeat, live, die, and repeat. And you're just like, oh my God. But now you're watching ReZero, just like, oh, you know, things like this do happen and they're shocking and they're messed up. And, you know, he comes back and you're like, oh, I'm sick and all this stuff like that because the devs still suck. But you also
the
get
writers
to see
are
how
doing a really good job of playing with that respawn too, because in like episode 2 or something or 3, he specifically, like, you can see the point where he's like, I lost this run, just kill me. And then they're like, they took the really goofy, playful arcs in, and they're just like, no, I don't think I will. And you're like, oh, uh-oh.
Yep. And that's what I was like, because you would think, like, in normal cases, you would think, okay, you know, he respawns, so just like, whatever. But they don't let up on that, because it's just like, well, what if they don't kill him? What if they don't? And there's one death that, you know, you alluded to. There's one death in the first episode, like first 2 episodes or whatever, when it first happens. And it's agonizing watching Subaru go through it. Like the neck.
Oh yeah. When that happened, I was like, yo, what the fuck? This is so gruesome.
And I was like, he's alive.
When he fell and he like caught the chain, and then they just like zoom out and you see his fingers fall off.
Fingers fly off.
I was like, holy shit.
And I was just like, what if he doesn't die? What if he doesn't die?
Yeah, he lost all his fingers. What if he doesn't die right here? What if she like lets go of the chain and he's just like, he's got just like this bloody ring around his neck. He's missing all of his fingers.
Dude, ReZero is fucking nuts. Watch ReZero.
ReZero plays with their like idea of respawn really well. You're like, because at the beginning of the entire series, you're like, okay, everything can just be solved by dying, and then you just get to do it again because you have all the information. And then like as it goes, it gets like harder to get that information. And then they're like, okay, but what if when you die, you didn't just go back? What if that's not what's happening? And now it's like, maybe you shouldn't just go ahead and die.
Because I'm a little, because it's been a long time since I watched the early seasons, but when they kind of introduce like, no, these things happen, so when you die,
yeah, like you're just in a different timeline now.
Yeah,
like,
and so it's like
they
all
never
those
confirm
things,
or deny whether that is the case, but they're like, what if it is?
Yeah, and what if that is a thing? So it's like, everybody
you have to go back and think,
fucked.
and you're like, in the first some odd timelines, dude just like yeets himself off a cliff after pulling Betty's hair, and like in that time, like that's the last time that they see him, and they're like, that is the weirdest way for someone to just go out. And he like was giddy about it at the time. He was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go kill myself. So at the time, it's just like, and now you like, now that you've learned that that's a possibility, you're like, oh, we're gonna try to not do that anymore. Okay,
dude. ReZero is so good. Again, I don't want to go into it in too much detail. I would highly recommend watching the season. Season 3 has been phenomenal, and I'm literally on the edge of my seat every episode, being like, what is going on? And not just because of the big overarching things that are happening right now in season 3, but also I'm starting to get really, really interested in certain character motivation. Right now, I feel like there are a lot of people a part of the team, the squad right now. They're working together really well. Obviously, they're all in the like throne contest or whatever it's called. I forget, like the whole like who's gonna be king or whatever. But you know, obviously they're all working together.
Candidates are like all like not useless.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Amelia, when Amelia got her chance to actually fight.
Vix, my crazy. I don't remember Amelia popping off like this.
Amelia went fucking crazy in that fight. I was like, what? I was like, okay, wait a minute. Wait, Amelia might actually be cool. Hold on. Something ain't right here.
The longest time, I was an Amelia hater. I was like, man, bump Amelia.
She pulled out
the
creation daggers and the sword, the ice sword, and the like shatter shards. I was like, oh my god, wait, this is epic. She's pulling out the moves. Where did you learn to fight like this?
Vix, where are you in season 3? Are you into part 2 yet?
I'm not at part 2. I just got to Subaru just got back from Lust.
Okay, so what I will say is you haven't seen nothing. Amelia pops off, dude.
I feel like she's got to because she's fighting what?
Oh my god! I feel
like the dude that picked her up, not Gluttony, Greed.
Greed, yeah.
I feel like he's like structured to be the strongest one.
Oh, dude!
And if she has to fight him, then she has to pop off.
Vix. Ooh, Vix. Ooh, it's so good. It's so good because Amelia pops off and Subaru has such a good fucking moment. Oh, watch ReZero. That's all I'm going to say for right now. I'll give your guys this is my full opinions on ReZero. Maybe not in the next podcast. I want to give people time to watch. But God, ReZero is so good for it being back. I was so sad when there was like that 7-year gap or whatever it was between season 1 and season 2.
Now that like he's got more understanding of his power, the show is easier to follow. Because at the beginning, we are also in disarray as the viewers. We're like, what in the world is going on? And now that he's kind of figured it out, he's got the general understanding. He had to meet with the witches like season 2 or whatever. And now that he can understand like the grasp of his own power, now we can focus on what's actually happening. So it is a lot easier to understand what's going on in like a normal story sense. Because before, for like 2.5 seasons, you're like, what in the world is happening to this dude? And now that I don't have to worry about that, now it's like, okay, now I can try to like figure out a good solution like with him, as opposed to like, oh, we'll respawn a victory here. So
yeah, like they really put a lot of weight on him respawning because in a story that most people will write, that will, early Subaru would be what you would do. I messed up. I need to go back. But they really put weight on, hey, if you're just dying, these lives matter because what if the other parallel versions, happen? Oh, there's also other characters like, oh my God, what's this dude? Weird Hat Man guy that lives in the mansion with them. What's his name? Starts with an R. Clown face mask guy.
Wait, what show are we talking about right now?
ReZero. The dude with the makeup that lives in the house.
Rosewald.
Yes, Rosewald. Like, he's like, Subaru, I know your secret and all that stuff like that. Like, it's like this stuff matters. And the more you fuck up, there will be consequences for a Subaru. So you need to actually grow as a person, as a character, and get more powerful and realize the assets that you have, because Subaru does have a lot of amazing allies and they're all sick in their own way. And he's just a normal guy going through all this stuff. And I love it. I'll say
the one thing that I don't like about ReZero is, why did they have to nickname him the Lollymancer?
Okay, that is actually, this will be the final thing that we'll talk about for ReZero. I've had people tell me that they don't like watching My Hero Academia because the characters look so young and they sexualize them a lot. I was like, understandable. You know what I mean? They are high school students, totally understandable. I get that, but I like My Hero. It's this. I take my thoughts of like, oh well, if I was a high schooler, this would be fun. I really enjoy it and everything like that. Like, I'm not looking at the characters like, ooh, yeah. But when I'm watching ReZero, I'm like, they look incredibly young. Like when you're going to like the songs, the Smith lady, the girl that sings the songs or whatever, she looks incredibly young. Priscilla looks incredibly young, even though she's like an adult woman.
Like she
has adult proportions.
She looks pampered. She doesn't really look like she looks like she's a young adult, but she looks like she's clearly been nobility for a long time.
Yeah, the merchant girl that's a part of the throne contest, not Fio, what's her name? Like
Fel,
it starts with an F.
Fells.
Yeah, Fel. She's incredibly young. You have like all of them look like children, and then you got Subaru run around with Beatrice, and I'm just like, okay, it's anime, but then they literally give him the nickname. I don't know if that was a fan translation or not, because I saw Lowly Mancer.
Yeah, in the Japanese sub, they call him Little Girl User, which is so much worse. And I'm just like, that's wow. That's fucking wild. Why the fuck would you write that in there with all these characters who look like literal children? And it's just like, oh yeah, main character, he's just a little girl. I watched anime a long time. I've played these games before, but it's because the reality situation sometimes. As long as they don't do anything weird, you can have the young characters. It's fine. Just don't do anything weird. why that like came out of nowhere for me. He's like, I'm pretty sure they didn't call him that before.
No.
And then just like right up to here, they're just like, hey, they're a little girl user. And you're like, what the? Wait, what? Stop.
Yeah,
Stop that right now.
Because that shit really did point, like, it took me out of the show for a second. And I'm just like, all these characters look incredible.
I was like, no, they did the weird thing. Shit.
They did the weird thing. And I was just like, I do not like that at all. ReZero is still amazing, but it just is one of those asterisks on the show. You know what I mean?
That dies off in this season. Yeah. Is that?
Because yeah. It's not a good look.
The worst part about it is that he mostly got that because he has like a contract with the Great Spirit that is Betty.
Yeah.
But he's not the only one that has a Great Spirit. So like, why? Like, it's unfortunate that his spirit looks like a little girl, but he's a spirit knight. He's literally a spirit knight. They say it in the show that he's a spirit knight, and he's not the only one. But they're just like, yeah, little girl user. You're like, bro, what the fuck? No,
because everybody else's spirit is either just like a colorful ball like Navi, or it's Puck. You know what I mean? It's like a little cat guy. But then his is like, oh, he just got a little girl that's like his daughter essentially.
Yeah, but Rosewall's had her for some odd decades or whatever, so he should also be like a freak. He should also be little girl user then.
But yeah, it's just one of those things with anime. I'm just like, you didn't need to add this. You didn't need that.
I know. I was like, you didn't have to say that. So
you did not.
They do. There's no way that initially the characters within the show, they might have done this like as a meta aspect. They did actually have a use for that, like 2 episodes later, and it could have been anything. It could have been Tracksuit Guy. You could have done anything. But no, they're like when they fight Gluttony, they tell, I don't know why, I don't even remember him having beef with Gluttony, but
oh well, Gluttony's beef is because he ate Rem's memories.
I thought that came from
the whale is like a part of Gluttony.
Oh, okay, so I just missed that.
So that's why he's sense. Like, yeah, so, that's why he's mad, because he's like, I got to kill him so I can get back, you know.
So
Ram.
Why can they not give him their name? What was? I don't
know.
That was the warning that Al gave. Al was like, when you meet Gluttony, don't tell him your real name. And so Julius calls him the little girl user in the presence of Gluttony so that he doesn't say his name. And I was like, so okay, that makes sense that you didn't use it. But it could have been anything. It could have been Tracksuit Guy.
It could have been anything. It could have been Boss.
You could have just Captain.
It could have been anything.
Tom. I don't know. Anything.
Because, like, I think that it would. I mean, we don't know yet. I don't know. But I'm assuming that it has something to do, like, with the whole eating the memory, eating who you're being is. People forget about you, so you can't give him any information or he'll eat it. So I guess it's like maybe like if he understands something or if he knows you, then he can take that.
I feel like he already knows him though, because he specifically tells Subaru that, like, he asks him what the grudge is, and it's like, yeah, so you met somewhere, and it's like, so you know who I am. Yeah. Guess he knows because like you said, White Whale is part of him, so I guess he knows via the Slayer of the White Whale. But in which case, they should just like know his name then. Like, he's not like he's not some foreign dude. Like, everybody knows him now. So.
Yeah, but also that is true. He is kind of like okay, well, I'll say that they go into interest places later in the season. That might also explain a little bit of that as well.
Okay,
that's all I will say. But yeah, ReZero still really great. You know, really, really enjoying it, having a lot of fun. That is just a weird thing that I wanted to bring up.
They just had to do the one weird thing. We'll let it go as long as they find a use for it, I guess.
Yeah. Also, we need a thumbnail. Dukes, get on it. Hit the printers. slap little girl user and his Subaru face look like he in jail. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this week. It's always a blast sitting down talking anime with Vix every single week on the DNAnime podcast. So hopefully you guys at home are enjoying it. We'll be back next week with the 45th episode of DNAnime podcast. Again, if you guys are enjoying it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe to keep up to date. If you're on the audio podcast realm, Go and give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Again, if we gave you a little respite from your work day or your commute to and fro work, and we make it a little bit easier for you, let the boys know that we're making a positive change, a difference in your life in those comments, as well as the reviews. We'll see you guys next week for another banger episode of DNAnime Podcast. I hope you guys have a good week yourselves and enjoy it and continue to watch anime and love it, man. It's my jam. So we'll see you guys then. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.